All right, I am Dr. Ivan Carney, and I'm going to talk to you today about stress and your back. And I was just looking at some of the things I used to do 2 or 3 years ago, and they're good. They're good audibles, but I was a little stiff. Well, I've loosened up. I just kind of shoot from the hip, and I give you the information that's going to help you have a healthier, longer life. So today, stress in your back. So stress is a fact of life. It just is. It is also a very powerful factor in your general health, as well as in your body's ability to resist and overcome disease. So let's talk about stress and nutrients. Well, according to the textbook of medicine by Beeson, McDermott, and Wingarden, Cecil, 5th edition, 1979. Stress depletes, listen closely, stress depletes vitamin A, vitamin B complex, folic acid, vitamin B12, and vitamin C. Now, since we're on the vitamin C kick, I want you to know that if you take the standard processed C, you're getting about 9 milligrams. Now, if you take your C, which is ascorbic acid, which is just part of vitamin C, not really vitamin C, but everybody calls it vitamin C, but it's really just ascorbic acid, which is a component of vitamin C, it's not going to work as well. Just so you know that. But I'll come back to that maybe later. Now, minerals are also sharply decreased in the blood with serious consequences, even death. That's not a good thing. Those elements lost during the stress of illness of disease include iron, zinc, phosphorus, sodium, chloride, potassium, and trace minerals. Now, add to this information the fact that calcium utilization becomes greatly affected during stress. Now, let's talk about stress in the adrenal glands. The adrenal gland is a small oval-shaped gland located over the kidneys. We're sitting right on top of the kidneys and having an outer lining called the adrenal cortex and an inner portion called the medulla. Now, the medulla is the portion of the gland that produces adrenaline. The medulla is the portion that does that. Now, under normal circumstances, the adrenal gland produces and releases small amounts of adrenaline into your blood. But when you are under extreme stress, and who knows what extreme stress is to you and what it is to me, two different things. The concentration of adrenaline in the blood can increase almost 1,000-fold in a matter of seconds or maybe even minutes. It just depends on how old you are, what kind of condition your adrenal glands are in, and et cetera, et cetera. So the stress-adrenal gland connection is well documented in the textbook Principles of Biochemistry, if you want to look it up. The text there explains that adrenaline, the adrenal medulla hormone, prepares you for emergency by 6 things. First of all, it increases the heart rate. Second, it increases the blood pressure. Third, it encourages the flow of more blood to certain organs by constricting blood vessels closest to the surface, peripheral vasoconstriction. 4, stimulating the liver to break down stored sugar, glycogen, into usable sugar for fuel, which is glucose. Number 5, facilitating stored fuel in the muscles to convert to usable muscle fuels, lactate and ATP. And finally, number 6, starting the process for the conversion of protein, the amino acids, into fuel, glucose, an enzyme process called gluconeogenesis. Now, did any of that make any sense to you? Probably not. But you can remember that the adrenaline, which we call the adrenal medulla hormone, prepares you for an emergency, fight or flight, bear chasing you, whatever, by increasing your heart rate. Okay, that makes sense. It increases your blood pressure. Okay, that makes sense. It encourages more flow of blood to certain organs. Okay. By constricting other blood vessels closest to the surface. Okay. It stimulates the liver to break down the sugar to go into fuel for you. So you'll have more energy. Okay, got that. And it facilitates the stored fuel to convert into usable fuels. And then number 6, it starts the process for the conversion of the protein into glucose. So you'll have more energy. So it takes care of itself. It's self-regulated. It's on autopilot. If you had to think about all these things, you'd have even more stress. So this is an easy peasy thing to understand. The adrenal cortex, the medulla, the adrenal glands are there for a reason, and especially for emergencies. So let's talk about the adrenal gland low back connection, and a lot of people have low back issues. So if you're a person with normal adrenal function who gets, let's say, adequate vitamin B12 complex, has optimal mineral and trace element availability with proper protein balance and good overall nutrition, well, guess what? You can probably, and this is probably, cope with some stress. But, and here's the big but, if you're not a person with perfect or somewhat perfect glandular function and proper nutrition, and who is, you're prone to adrenal exhaustion when faced with extreme or severe or chronic stress. And like I said, most people don't have that perfect glandular function. Most people don't take the right nutrition, standard process, for proper nutrition. So they are prone to adrenal exhaustion. Now, through an intricate network of common blood vessels, nerve supply, and lymphatic, which is the waste drainage channels, your adrenal glands and the muscles of your thighs are intrinsically related. Now think about that. I'm talking about your adrenal glands. I'm talking about an intricate network of blood vessels and the nerve supply, and there's trillions of nerves in your body, and your lymphatic system. Your adrenal glands and the muscles of your thighs are intrinsically related. Now, how is that? Well, a narrow band of muscle in your inner thigh called the sartorius. Sartorius. I don't know why I said that one, but I did. The sartorius muscle is most closely related to your adrenal glands. So look that up. It's a long muscle that goes from your knee all the way up into your right hip area. I call it the hip area, your pelvis. So through a biochemical chain of events, beginning with stress and coupled with malnutrition, you're not taking your supplements, you're not drinking enough water, you're doing all these things that are bad, most people suffer weakening or exhaustion of their adrenal system at some time in their lives. And when you suffer from adrenal exhaustion, you're prone to a profound weakening of your sartorius muscles, both of them, which can lead to agonizing low back pain. Now, who looks at that? Hardly anybody is going to tell you about the adrenal glands and the sartorius muscle. Now, let's talk about going from stress to agonizing back pain. So, as you can readily see from the diagram, you can't see it, but I see it, the sartorius muscles serve to tie down or support your pelvis. Okay. Now, when significantly weakened from stress, their opposing muscles will wrench your pelvis and low back, or your sacroiliac, into an improper position, which is not suited for the stress of weight bearing. So that muscle ties down or tightens up. And finally, a small move and your back, as people say, goes out. It never goes out. It just moves slightly and puts some pressure on the nerves. Now, some doctors feel that as much as 60% of all severe or recurring low back strains, 60%, that's over half, sprain, strain, or pain is a result of stress adrenal syndrome. Now, you have something that's on point here. The sartorius, the adrenal gland, how it tightens up, how it affects your pelvis, and you know what most people don't know. You know more than 90% of the people know now. You know something very good. Now, although I feel that this number may be slightly exaggerated, there's no doubt that a great deal of this type of back problem is caused by the stress syndrome. So how do you treat stress to avoid the back pain? That's what you want to know. You want results. I mean, I can talk about what causes it, but do you really care? No. What's the answer? That's what you want to know, the solution. So the best way to handle this type of problem, if your sartorius is involved and your adrenal glands are involved and the stress is involved, is before the back gives in. You want to do it before that. So when you know you're under stress or you're going to be under stress, maybe it's going to happen in 3 weeks. Maybe you're getting married, whatever. Treat yourself accordingly. Now, how do you do that? Well, be sure that you're eating properly, not junk. You're getting some type of exercise, even if it's just walking, and being prepared for the stress. You got to prepare. If you know stress is coming, you should be able to prepare. So here is an outline to follow. There's about, 4 different things you can do. So number 1 is you want to get proper nutrition. Like I said, and as mentioned, stress depletes vitamin A, B complex, folic acid, B12, vitamin C, and minerals including iron and zinc and phosphorus and sodium and chloride and potassium and calcium. Those are all going to be somewhat depleted. Number 2, use aerobic exercise as a tool. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, this type of exercise is particularly helpful when under stress. Aerobic exercise. Anaerobic is without. Aerobic is with oxygen. Now, even if stress has you completely exhausted, you're run down, you're just out of it, this is the time to get 20 minutes of aerobic exercise. Yeah, just 20 minutes. And you do that 4 times a week. If you're in a stressful state, you want to do this at least 20 minutes a day for 4 times a week. Number 3, if stress gets serious, it's hurting, treat your adrenal system with adrenal gland protomorphogens, which are glandular extracts, and I can help you with that. And then number 4, be prepared to use a stretching posture, which can help realign your low back and your pelvis, as well as strengthen your sartorius muscles. To perform the posture properly, what you want to do is you want to lay on your back. And then you want to take your right leg, and you want to pull it up, bend it, and then pull it up, the foot part, all the way up to your pelvis. And then once you have your foot on your pelvis, then you want to grab that knee of the right leg and pull it towards your chest. See, that's going to help you. So what you do is you lie flat on your back, bend your knee, and bring your heel as close to the groin as possible using the opposite hand. So if I'm pulling my right knee or my right heel as close to the groin as possible, I'm going to use my left hand. Now, while keeping the heel close to the groin with your left hand, grasp the outside of the knee and bring the thigh as close to the torso as possible with the right hand. Relax while holding this position snugly, listen closely, for a full 60 seconds. Stretch it. You're not going to try to hurt yourself. You're just going to pull. Have a steady pull on that knee. And then finally, you're going to perform the same procedure with the other leg and perform the entire procedure once in the morning, and once at night. And that's it. So if you need some adrenal support, if you need any help with other supplements, let me know. Let me know. And I will contact you later. And if you need to contact me, just go to 951-760-0798. Just reach out to me, text me, and we'll get you taken care of. Okay? Hope this helps. And I will talk to you on the next Audible. Thanks a lot, by the way. I appreciate you.